You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome into the Outspoken Sportscast here. It's your host Brian and Craig. We've got a great episode for you today. It's episode 132, NBA free agency. It's been booming. There's been deals everywhere. There's been crazy trade rumors. People are moving all over the map. So we'll fill you in on all the big moves that have been made. Craig, it's happy Bobby
Like
Bonilla
Christmas
Day.
in July.
Oh, Christmas in July. That's the definition right there. It's a good day for Bobby. And we got the headlines of the week as well, right on the other side of this, guys. All right, guys. On the spotlight of the week this week, we got the NBA free agency here, and I think the biggest news that everyone's been talking about, other than the Rudy Gobert thing that just came across today, but Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant demands a trade out of Brooklyn. We've all been up to date on the Kyrie Irving situation. He if he couldn't get a deal done, he wanted to go to LA. Or he had a couple teams. No one really wanted him except the Lakers, but they don't really have much to offer in a package. They're not willing to give up LeBron. They're not willing to give up Anthony Davis. So he opts back in. He opts back into Brooklyn and says, "I'm going to be in Brooklyn next season." And then out of the blue, Kevin Durant says, "Trade me, get me out of here." Rumors are that the rumor mill's swirling that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving want to play together somewhere else other than Brooklyn. The rumor is that Kyrie Irving wants to force his way to LA at no matter what, whether it's with Durant or not. Steve Nash says he's not going to coach Kyrie Irving another season. Basically, they butted heads. There's been plenty of rumors behind the scenes of Kyrie Irving having his own practices. A lot of drama, and if this thing is going to break up, Kevin Durant will be going somewhere else. In the NBA, you can force yourself to go, I wouldn't say anywhere you want to go, but you can force yourself out of a situation, and you're given that power. There's going to be a lot of trade rumors or a lot of interest in Kevin Durant. He is one of the best players in the NBA. But, of course, he wants to go to Phoenix or was it Miami? I think Miami was the other one. And those are the two top teams that finished first last season. So, of course, he would want to jump on already a winning team and try and get an easy championship ring because that's what Kevin Durant does. What are your thoughts? I cannot stand the guy. But this is the biggest. This is going to be the biggest debacle of a super team and fastest breakup we've ever seen.
It almost to me is like Kyrie tried to do his thing and it didn't work. Nobody wanted him. The Lakers can only offer $6 million. That wasn't enough. So he decides to opt back in. Well, then when he opts back in, it's almost like him and Durant had a phone call and said, all right, listen, I'm going to opt back in, but I need you to go opt out and say you want out. And then we already know they don't want me. We already know I hate the coach hates me, ownership hates me. I'll go with you. We'll all play together, but we'll play somewhere else. All right, good talk. Ready, break. And then Durant goes and does it. And so it almost is like Kyrie tried and it failed. And so he's like, hey, Kev, can you help me out here, brother? And he's like, I got you. And so deal. The Lakers are not getting them unless they are willing to part with Russ and AD. That's the only way financially it works. Phoenix would have to give up. I mean, they've already told Phoenix they want Booker.
But they decided
Phoenix is like, Phoenix is like, no, I don't think so. It would be Booker and Aiden. That doesn't work. That defeats the purpose of deal. So basically, they're going to destroy whatever team they go to. Whoever decides. I mean, if they go to Miami, they're going to give up Hero. They're going to give up Bam Adebayo. So he would basically play with Jimmy Buckets is the only person he would maybe be left after that blow up in Miami. LA would be only those two and maybe Bron, but that would be the only thing that survived. Phoenix would be a dumpster fire after they blew that up. So like all three teams that they want to go to, they're going to destroy. Like the ownership of those teams would destroy their own team by taking on this.
Hoping to win a championship in the very small window, because if they're not happy,
1 or 2
they're
years.
Gone. They're gone. Yes. I feel bad for Steve Nash. This is his first time coaching. He's got to coach Kyrie Irving, ultimate cancer of the team. There's also another side of this, because maybe when Kyrie Irving couldn't get traded and he signed back, Kevin Durant said, no, get me away from this guy. Maybe Kevin Durant wants to leave him.
Maybe. Unless, but they wouldn't want to play together. They keep hearing they want to play together.
Well, those are the rumors. Now, Kevin Durant could be not wanting to speak his truth and say it to Kyrie Irving's face. I know
that he torpedoed the Portland thing. Did you see that?
Who? Kevin
Durant.
Durant?
Oh, he went scorched earth. He's like, I don't know what Dame's talking about. He's like, I'd never play with Dame ever. Ooh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Shots fired.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard would make a
That's what I would. I might go get me a Portland jersey. I mean, I like Dame anyway, but
Dame's a beast.
Yeah, he basically shot that down as completely false.
Well, it looks like unless they get a big package for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving or whatever, you're looking at Ben Simmons and a rebuild with Brooklyn. We were talking about that. Total rebuild for Ben Simmons there, or for the Brooklyn Nets and with Ben Simmons. Guys, if you're following us or watching us on YouTube, you can straight up you can message us live on the show and get in on the action. Guys, we will put your comment up on the show and go from there and talk about your comment. And so feel free to do so. We're talking about NBA free agency coming in on the spotlight
Gobert
of the
thing
week.
blows my mind. I mean, I know that they want it out in Utah.
Well, yeah, and Utah basically,
they had to choose one or the other.
They're both going.
I think so.
They're both going. It makes no sense. You have a new GM, you have a new head coach. It makes no sense to go half in on a rebuild. You get rid of both. Donovan Mitchell only has 2 more years. You're not going to fully rebuild in 2 years. You're in a small market. People don't sign up to go to Utah. I think they're both gone. Now, Rudy Gobert gets traded today to the Timberwolves
for like a half of the franchise.
4 players. It's like 3 players and 4 first-round draft picks. I think it's only 3 first-round draft picks, and they gave up their first. They traded away their first-round draft pick this season, like the player they drafted. but it's really a bunch of nobodies.
Well, the first round pick this year could be okay.
He could be somebody. I mean, he could be somebody. Okay.
And Pat Beverly.
Pat Beverly. He likes to run his mouth and play some defense, but I think he's kind of done. I just think it's interesting because the Timberwolves made the playoffs this year for the first time in forever. I don't even know when the last time it was, but this team looks pretty good.
Back when Garnett was there.
Yeah, you got Cat, you got Edwards, and now you're adding Gobert in the mix. And Gobert he can score points, but his main thing is defense. He's going to play that defense.
And Pat Beverly played some defense and get you some points and some minutes. Yeah, I mean,
I think the West has got stronger right there, and the Utah Jazz basically chose the guy they want to play with, Donovan Mitchell. But I think at the end of the day, they trade him, get something back for him, and
go full tank mode.
Full tank mode. There's no point.
But that doesn't help you though.
Why does it not?
Because your next draft picks are all going to.
That's true. That's true.
So you go full tank mode and you're helping out. You're giving them Gobert and a bunch of lottery picks.
That's true, but I just don't think.
I don't know in the NBA. I think you can only do every other year.
Yeah, you can't do back to back to back.
You can't back to back. So they won't get. Maybe they get next year's pick because they gave them this.
I'm looking it up right now. The Timberwolves will send Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly, Jared Vanderbilt, Leandro Bolmaro. I don't know the number 22 pick, Wes Kessler, and four first round picks.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is in the NBA you can't do 23, 24, 25, 26.
It's 23, 25, 27. And a top
29.
5 projected pick in 29. They sent those picks and 4 other players.
Yeah. So that means next year, if they tank this year, that one goes to Minnesota. They would have to tank for 2 years to get anything out of. So it does no good to tank this year.
I would. If they trade, obviously they trade Donovan, it's full tank mode. I just don't know. I mean, who are they going to get to come and play with Donovan Mitchell? It's a small market. No one signs up to go there. Hell, they have a better job of going there than they do the Dallas Mavericks, who we'll get into here in a minute. But Rudy Gobert is a good. He's probably one of the best defensive centers in the league, if not the best defensive center in the NBA here. Let's get into the Dallas Mavericks.
JaVale McGee.
Well, yeah, they get JaVale McGee, and that's a nobody, really. I mean, he's going to be another rim protector. He's going to play better defense than Woods.
He'll roll to the rim better than
he'll roll to the wood. Oh, he'll roll to the rim
he'll have
a lot
some
better.
Rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent good, but I'm not over here jumping for joy.
You lose Brunson.
The pathetic thing is, look, I'm fine with losing Brunson. I think they overpaid him, and his value when he gets his contract and goes to New York will drop drastically. But we couldn't even get a sit down with our own guy. He wouldn't even give it the time of day to have a sit down with the Dallas Mavericks. That's what is annoying to me.
See, I don't know if he didn't or if
no, he didn't. They talked about it 153 the fan today.
If the GM canceled it because he basically knew it was wasting everybody's time.
Well, he already knew he's going somewhere, and they said
that's what I'm saying. So the GM said, just don't even worry about it. We already know that this is. But
how do you
formality.
Still? It looks embarrassing. You can't even get a meeting with your own guy before he walks out of town.
Yeah.
Does it not?
Yeah. No. 100%.
Look, I'm full-fledged Mavericks now. Okay, but I'm not a big fan of.
But this is the history. This is the history of Mark Cuban.
They can't get nobody.
Free agency. I mean,
it doesn't happen. He's never got a free agent ever.
Back when what's his name signed, and then goes and locks himself in his house.
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah. Just no, I made a mistake. And won't even call Cuban, won't even meet him, won't it happens all the time with the Mavericks. This is just you think Utah's a destination nobody wants to come to. Dallas can't get anybody.
I said, I said that they would rather go to Utah than Dallas for some reason.
Yeah.
But that's what I don't get. Look, Brunson's play will be better in New York as far as his be able to be that guy, right?
He'll be the top guy.
He'll be the top guy
he
on
won't have to live in the shadow of Luka
franchise.
anymore.
Yeah, and a losing franchise. Look,
Yeah. They'll make the playoffs as a low seed because the East is so terrible.
I mean, a lot of a lot of Maverick fans were saying, we got to sign him. We have to. I don't want to overpay a guy because you think we have to. What's our other options?
But you drafted another guard, so you really don't need him.
Yeah. It's just somebody's gonna have to come play with Luka eventually. I think he turns it around.
He does need a Robin.
And I think that because you ain't doing it without it. And I think Nico Harrison does help. Nico Harrison, the trade they made this last season has paid off, even though some might, I didn't really think they would, but they seem to be paying off. And I'm interested to see what they do. I'm interested to see that now that Luka has a big. I know we disagreed on his importance or how good he can be. But
well, now they say JaVale McGee is expected to be the starter. And so now you got the guy that you thought was going to be the starter. Now, what's his role? If you've promised JaVale McGee to be a starter, what's this guy that you traded for's role? Is he coming off the bench again? Is he going to be mad because he's coming off the bench?
I'd rather start Wood than JaVale McGee. He's younger.
I just read today that he expects to be the starter in Dallas, the starting center.
Oh, look, I've seen him play. He was great when we won when the Lakers won in 2020, the bubble championship. He played great. Dwight Howard had a resurgence that year, but I don't know. I just think his best basketball play is behind him. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. But Luka's going to make everyone better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just like an elite quarterback would. Also, John Wall is a guy who's been washed, I think, for the last couple of years. He reached his option with Houston, but they're going to buy him out. And he's going to join the Clippers. So see if he can join there and help out a little bit. Bradley Beal, a guy I would love to see in Dallas. He's perfect match for Luka. I hope it happens one day. We thought he might. They
always talk about it, but then he goes and
signs the biggest
a mega deal.
Just massive deal. I don't think he sticks this whole contract out with them. It's a 5-year deal. I think he leaves eventually.
I think he gives them a year or two to see that they can prove to finally be competitive, but they haven't ever built anything around him. They've never given him any support around. That's been his complaint the whole time he's been there, and I think it continues to be his complaint.
And look, you've got to give this guy props in a league where people are jumping ship. Look at Brooklyn. People jumping ship. They're getting the fan base hopes up, and they jump ship before they do anything. This guy's loyal. His loyalty is with that organization, and that's great for him.
Yeah.
Now he might get killed eventually if he never wins anything, but he can say at the end of the day, "Hey, I stayed one spot, and I tried my best." That's all he can really say. But I think he's a great fit anywhere he goes, and hopefully he doesn't stick to 5 years out on a team that doesn't really put much around him. Zach LaVine is staying in Chicago. He signs a max deal with them. I think they would be dumb to let him go. He's been in a lot of trade rumors over the last couple of years. They keep him there. And the Lakers still can't get rid of Russell Westbrook, even though they want to. They couldn't give him. They can't even give that guy away. Blazers signed back Nurkic, and they get Peyton from Golden State. So
that's a surprise, as well as he played and as integral as he was, that he didn't even really give Golden State a second thought.
Yeah. That is true. Maybe he won his ring and wanted to see if he could do it somewhere else. I think Portland and Dame Damian Lillard, like I said, we both got mad respect for that guy. He's fantastic.
If he could just stay healthy, he's had two real bad injury seasons. So if he can stay healthy, then that makes a big difference.
Joker becomes the highest paid NBA player in the history of basketball. Booker and Cat also get the Supermax as well. This next season looks to be really interesting for the NBA because I just said it. Timberwolves are getting better.
Yeah.
The Nuggets will be healthier. They won't have.
Detroit got a whole lot better.
Detroit got better. They're up and young coming team. We got to see. Still, there's been no rumors about the Suns' big man. What's his face? Aiden. There's been no rumors. They talked about he could be on the move. And then free agency hits. We've heard nothing.
Yeah.
No hints. No nothing. So maybe they want to keep him.
And then you read the Miles Bridges deal?
No.
Miles Bridges was supposed to sign a max deal with Detroit, and 48 hours ago, domestic violence.
Oh yeah, he gets domestic violence. Gets charged for domestic violence. That's out.
So now probably nobody signs him because I don't know what the NBA domestic violence games is, but I'm sure it's somewhere around 40. I mean, the baseball's 50, which is about half their season. The NFL is 6 to 8, which is half their season. So I'm looking at probably the NBA is probably 40.
40.
I mean, just a
rough guess. Jeff wants me to send a link, but I don't know if I'm able to. Will you look that up real quick and talk about that? I'm gonna see if I can send him a link. You got to talk. We can't have silence.
Domestic.
Tucker's going back to Philly. Do you see that? He's going to join Philly, so that'll be good for them. Sorry, guys. I was sending a link to Jeff, so hopefully Jeff can join us in the show. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Tucker joins back to the 76ers. So, he's like we talked about him before. He's not going to come out here and kill you in points and be awesome. He's a guy that does the dirty work. He's 37 years of age. He's going to go back to Philly and hopefully help them out. Portis goes back to Milwaukee. They thought he might leave. He didn't really. What's up, Jeff?
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
I'm in the car right now.
You're in the car? Yeah. We were talking about NBA free agency. We went through a lot of the big ones pretty much already. We're going to go into the kind of the little bitty signings here. We've talked about the Kevin Durant demanding a trade and how much of a shocker that was after Kyrie Irving had signed back. And you have any thoughts on KD wanting out and demanding a trade from Brooklyn?
Oh, man. I've been talking to a guy at work about that because he's a big Nets fan. He's from Brooklyn, from New York. And he's kind of, he's surprised, but he wonders what would they get for that deal. They made a weird trade recently. It's like a piece that would be used in a potential trade or something like that. So he's kind of it's
Jeff, 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 you're cutting out so bad. You sound like a robot right now, buddy. I can't barely make out what you're. Try again. All right, man. Jump back on in a little bit, okay? Because this sounded terrible, unfortunately.
Yeah. The domestic violence policy is different in the NBA. The NBA can't suspend somebody for being arrested. They can suspend them for different circumstances stemming from the arrest, but just because like Bridges got arrested, they cannot suspend him or file anything against him, a grievance against him in the NBA. So he's back in local gyms working out, and he might sign a deal. Sounds to be a similar aspect to the whole Denver wide receiver thing, just a misunderstanding with the wife that didn't. It doesn't necessarily sound like it got super violent. It just sounded like it was a disagreement, and somebody called the cops, and because he's the NBA player, I guess they took him. He posted $130,000 bond, and he's out on his own deal, and who knows what comes of it. Probably the charges end up getting dropped. So he's out there still.
Interesting if anybody takes a flyer out on him.
On him, yeah.
It sucks when that happens. When you first read domestic violence, you're like, wow, what a piece of crap. And you start thinking really badly about this guy, and he carries that around him. But then you realize that I'm not sure in this case, but when you talk about the Denver Broncos and Jerry Jeudy, it was just kind of a misunderstanding. And the
Colorado law, the way the Colorado law is written, that's what got Jeudy.
Oh, yeah. And so you kind of go, okay, well, this is a big bag of nothing, but you label this guy, and some people won't let that label go. So that's tough. It cost him a max contract, right? He was just about to sign it,
because he was literally, it was basically a done deal because of the way the NBA does things. This legal tampering time, where he was basically in Detroit already signed, already agreeing to the deal.
Definitely, and I'd be mad if I lost out on something like that.
On top of what Detroit drafted, and the Cade Cunningham that they already have, Detroit could be a force to reckon with if they get him and he actually gets to play.
The Warriors keep Looney. He was a pretty good player for them.
Sign.
That's a great,
especially after his playoff run. He made himself some money in the playoffs, stepping up.
And then the Celtics get Brogdon in the trade for the Pacers, and they gave up absolutely nobody to get him.
Yeah.
They gave
him a bunch of players, but it was a bunch of nothing,
They gave him the paperclip and loose change in their pocket, and they come off with a pretty good player to help them.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that Kevin Durant could be headed to Boston. So that would be interesting if that happened. I think that team would be great if they could get Kevin Durant. They've already a team that went to the championship. They're missing something there. They kind of put it together this year, but they couldn't get over the hump. As Jeff joins us back on the show, but Boston couldn't get over the hump, and they so far not too bad, Jeff. Not too bad.
All right.
You were talking about the Jazz made a trade. We were talking about Kevin Durant. You said the Jazz made a weird trade. Talking about
I think it was like a pick. They did it with some picks or something. So I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with the Durant situation and what, or even the Kyrie situation.
Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier that the rumors are Kevin Durant and Kyrie want to play somewhere together, but they will not play for Brooklyn. So the question is, what team has the trade packages and cap space to get both of those guys to go there? It's
AD for KD.
AD for KD. There's talks about them wanting to go to the Lakers.
And Russ for Kyrie.
Yeah. The Lakers came out today and said they will not trade Anthony Davis for nobody. So that's
and Brian puts his Lakers hat back on.
Hey, Yeah,
Hey, I'm back,
I don't
guys.
know. I can't stand Kyrie. I can't stand Kevin Durant, and I don't like LeBron. So that would be the team of hell for me, in my opinion. I can't stand in three of the guys, but we were talking about some things. The Mavericks lose Brunson. Brunson goes to the Knicks. They overpaid him, but I don't know.
Anybody was going to overpay Brunson at this point. Either the Mavericks were going to overpay him or whoever he went to was going to overpay him. So
it's a miss. It'll take a little bit hit on Dallas. I'm kind of interested to see who takes over when Luka's off the court, because that's what Brunson did. He took over the game when and ran the offense. Dinwiddie could do that. The guy
Dinwiddie was doing that in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, Dinwiddie stepped up in the playoffs. Brunson got this contract because he played 2 or 3 great games in the playoffs, and they were like, "Wow, let's sign this guy." So I wasn't one.
He won a game against a good Utah team without Luka.
Yep, he did. I think he'll be good in New York, but he's not. I mean, he's gonna be good on a bad team. He's gonna have more opportunities to show us if he really has that. Can be a great player, but he's gonna be on a bad team.
And I mentioned this to the guy that I work with. He's a big. I mentioned earlier. I don't know if anybody heard, but he's a big Nets fan, and
yeah.
I told him. I said, look, the thing is I just wonder if Brunson wants to be the guy. It seemed like when Luka was out, Brunson was excited to be the guy and go and make a name for himself. And then it seemed like once Luka came in after being injured or whatever, Brunson kind of got, well, maybe I'm not going to put all my effort into this, and so it just seemed like numbers went down a little bit. Maybe he just didn't feel like that was the great situation for him, because he is playing number 2 to a number 1.
Yeah, he's playing in Luka's shadow.
Right.
Definitely. And he's playing number 2 when he's really a 3 or 4, in my opinion, than a number 2. But he doesn't have the opportunities here in Dallas. And for a star to come here and play with Luka, it's going to have to be the right kind of star, like a Bradley Beal we talked about a little earlier. Because Luka has to have the ball in his hands to be effective. Without the ball in his hands, he's not. He's not running around the court and doing all that stuff. He's a ball dominant guy, and that's fine. But you got to find the right piece to come in and play with him and be able to do that well. And I think they will eventually. And I think Luka will change it. And I also think that Nico Harrison hire will change it as well. And I just not a big fan of Mark Cuban, but I still can't get over it. We could not even get a sit down talk with the guy that was on our team, man. But his dad, Brunson's dad, also coaches, assistant coach of the Knicks. So,
and as soon as they signed him, they knew that was kind of the deal.
Yeah.
Right.
How is this not tampering, Craig? We knew Brunson was going to the Knicks like 3 weeks ago. I don't understand.
Because the NBA has a window. I don't know exactly. I think that was still outside the window, but it has a window of a certain amount of days that you can legally talk to these guys and put these deals in place, and then free agency actually opened today. But like last week was legal to go and talk to these guys and make deals in place. That's when the Mavs got DeAndre Jordan and the legal tampering thing, and then these deals aren't official now. Today they're becoming official. But like the whole Brunson thing wasn't official until yesterday. He could have backed out at any point in time and said, just kidding, and gone back to the Mavs. It's a real weird deal. We haven't seen it a lot. Normally, when you see these deals, they actually go into place. DeAndre Jordan did it, and a couple other times it's happened, but not very many times do you see these deals not work out.
Right. Yeah, it's just really weird. They're so like tampering, but then no one ever gets called out on it, or it's not really that big of a deal. But
tampering's so hard to prove. It's hard to prove in any league.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've basically covered all the big deals, man. So sorry. I look at the scoreboard and the Rangers were up 2-0. Now they're down 4-2. Anyways,
Keyword in that sentence were.
Yeah, were, was, where, when. Anyways, that is it for the spotlight of the week. That's going to cover it. We covered all the major deals. We're going to get into the headlines of the week here right after this video, if I find it. All right, guys. Well, we got a couple different headlines here for you. Deshaun Watson's always in the news and in our headlines because he gives us a lot of talk about here. But Deshaun Watson disciplinary hearing took just 3 days. It started on Tuesday and it's already over. They've got to come together with all the evidence and figure out the disciplinary ruling. Craig, what were the dates? You said June 11th was when they had
July
to have
11th. They have to have a report.
11th.
The report has to be submitted to both the NFL and Watson's attorney by July 11th of their findings and what they suggest. And then the NFL takes that suggestion or whatever and goes with the punishment. Now, I don't know. The way I read it, it sounds to me like the arbitrator just kind of puts it out there what they found. I thought they were the ones handing the suspension down that took it out of Goodell's hands.
So the NFL is still coming up with punishments.
Yeah, the way they wrote it was that the arbitrator's findings will be the letter or the report will be submitted to the NFL and Deshaun by July 11th, and then the suspension will soon to follow within a day or two after that. So I would say by mid-July, you will have the Deshaun Watson will be wrapped up, and
we'll figure out what the suspension's going to be.
Yeah.
I was hoping it wasn't left to the NFL. It was actually left to the arbitrary there, but we're going to find out. I think this is going to set a precedent of what's going to come and how these things are going to change, because that's been the crime here with the NFL is these punishments haven't been equal, and we're going to find out with this where we're going to go from here, how bad the punishment is going to be. Can you sit here and literally tell me and look me in the eye and tell me Calvin Ridley's gambling was worse than 26 women that Deshaun Watson has sexually assaulted? And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, but see, and the NFL was impressive to me by when they asked for the year and they want it to be extended to where open, to where they can go into next season after this full season. If anybody else comes out, then they can add more games to it or whatever. But then they also go into the hearing and go, well, we'll settle for 6 or 8. Well, don't tell them that.
Yeah.
Don't go sit here. Don't back off now just because, a year. We might not get a year, but we'll settle for 6. Don't show your hand.
Yeah. Saying we'll settle for 6 or 8. Well,
then they
go,
Deshaun's like, I want 0. Well,
yeah.
No, that's not legal.
Yeah. Yeah. You saw that report. I traded you in.
Yeah. He's like, I think I should get 0.
0. What
that's
fantasy
a good noted.
In your fantasy world, you did nothing wrong to these women.
Right.
But obviously you did.
What cracks me up about it is the guy that got suspended for gambling. I mean, the NFL is just constantly like, "Hey, we're proud sponsors of
gambling." Yes.
Oh, the Cowboys are in with it's like DraftKings Stadium. I mean,
the hypocrisy is huge. But I've always say this, and it will always stand to be true. If you mess with what they consider the integrity of the game, you will be punished severely. And betting on games,
it's the Pete Rose deal.
The integrity. Yes. And if they have guys out here that place bets on their games, it makes it look like you're trying to lose or whatever for the outcome.
Especially the year he did it, the Falcons were terrible, so that didn't help his case.
Well, and what was weird is
what if Goodell did it?
Gambled, Goodell will lose his job. They're saying, and I cannot wait for this, but they're saying when the trial starts with the whole John Gruden, they're saying Roger Goodell is going to lose his job.
Whoa.
That's the rumor. That's rumor mill, is that Goodell's going to lose his job because of the handling of those emails and
basically that he swept everything else under the rug and just pulled the Gruden thing out and kind of singled him out and then deleted, like tampered with evidence of other things that he should have been brought to the attention of the owners.
And that will cost him his job.
I believe he protected Snyder from being in more trouble too.
So the next commissioner is Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be.
Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's not left-handed Roger Goodell to come over this suspension. But what going back to Calvin Ridley real quick, what I find weird is he missed most of the other season due to mental health.
Yeah.
Was it mental health, or was it, hey, you're going to sit down and stop playing games until we figure out a suspension? And then they suspend them a full year. So I don't know if that was mental health. Really, I mean, if it was mental health, then that is what it is. And you know, but if it was really the NFL saying you're not playing any more games, and then they suspend you for another year, it's really just it's almost a 2 year.
That's kind of what they did with Deshaun. They sat him out last year, and they
didn't set him out. He refused to play for the Houston.
No, Houston set him out because everything was going on. I think maybe it was a mutual deal. I don't know.
I thought he set out because he refused to play for him, and he wasn't going to play for him anymore, and he wanted out. No. And he showed up, but didn't, didn't play. Well, we talked about some sad news last week about the Ravens passing, and we found out today that Ravens linebacker Jalen Ferguson passed away suddenly. Or not today, but he passed away suddenly last week at 26 years of age. His passing was combined effects of fentanyl and cocaine mixed. And guys, fentanyl is extremely dangerous. It's killing everybody. It's extremely dangerous. Tyler Skaggs passed away, the Angels player here in Southlake, when they came in to play the Rangers. You hear about it all the time. When an athlete dies like this, my first thought is always probably fentanyl. And unfortunately, it was a mixture of fentanyl and cocaine. It's very dangerous for you. You hate to see it. You hate to see a guy this young make those decisions that cost him his life. But
yeah, the problem is these guys don't know where they're getting it from. They're getting it off the black market, and you don't know how it was mixed. You don't know the strength of it. You don't know the is it a reputable pharmaceutical deal, or did we get it from some guy on the street corner selling for $10 a pop or whatever? And I think that's what basically got Skaggs was he had gotten it from this guy before and done all this before, and then he gets a bad batch or whatever and or mixes it with something he never mixed it before. It's just fentanyl becomes, it's so unknown of what it does and what the side effects of it. Like nobody's done any kind of research on it. So when these guys are mixing it, partying like rock stars because they make millions of dollars, I don't understand what it's like. Is it an energy thing? Is it like, I don't understand what we're doing.
Well, fentanyl, I know people who are on hospice that have cancer or whatever, like my father-in-law and then my stepdad, they would give them fentanyl patches. And so they're really to not feel pain. And so it's kind of like a weird, and it's extremely strong. My mom, it took my mom forever for her insurance to even accept that he was needing fentanyl patches. That's how crazy it gets, where it's this person's obviously terminally ill and needs this because he's prescribed it, but it took pulling teeth just to get it because of everything that's going on in terms of what people take it as and use it as. And so they even told my mom, they said, if you, or even my mother-in-law, if your skin touches this, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
That's how very potent this stuff is.
And so I believe it becomes addicting very quickly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a video of this is a video on I don't know where it was, TikTok or something. It was a police video, and these cops they pulled over a person and they found drugs in the car, and it was fentanyl, which one cop knew, one cop didn't, and it was a rookie cop went over there and he's like, "Hey, don't get too close to that." Well, the guy, he got so close to it and like inhaled so much of it, the guy instantly, he just passed out instantly and was like, "Holy crap!" And it was like a brick of chalked up freaking fentanyl. It's insane. But I believe in the Tyler Skaggs situation, the Angels, they had someone go to jail for that. Did they not serve
The trainer,
the trainer that was handing out
that was
pills
handing
to
it out.
everybody?
Yeah.
So very
and-
dangerous
and-
stuff, man.
And basically Skaggs took it and then drank alcohol, and
Yeah.
basically, like you were saying, he blacked out. Well, when he blacked out, he vomited and basically choked.
Yeah.
Was his cause of death, asphyxiation. But he was blacked out because of the fentanyl, because it was either stronger than he was used to taking, or the combination of that and the alcohol, whatever it was. It's no good. I mean, it's there for, like Jeff said, it's there for when you need it, when you're in massive amounts of pain, which I'm sure NFL guys are. But
right,
I mean, you got to get it the right way, like these guys are doing it, like Jeff. I mean, and that's why they don't get it the right way, is because these insurance companies aren't making it readily accessible, so they're going and finding it other ways.
Very true. Well, there's nobody in the world happier on today than Bobby Bonilla. Bobby Bonilla, July 1st, will get paid $1,193,248.20 every July 1st until 2035. And it is known as Bobby Bonilla Day and the New York Mets. Good job, New York, on wanting to pay this guy for the rest of his life. I don't think you'll ever see anything like it again. Like you see deferred stuff, but you don't see deferred till they're like they can't play anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
We got our Brian Watson day. We got
Brian
our Brian Watson gets paid $1 million from.
Shoot, I wish. I wish I got paid $1 million a year for some.
There was just one of the baseball contracts, either the guy that went to the Cardinals, the third baseman from Colorado.
I could ask if you didn't tell. Why am I drawing a blank?
He played against us forever. I think there's deferred money in that contract.
Deferred till he's like 65 or what?
I don't. It's down the road.
I mean, there's deferred money in Freddy Freeman's deal too, but I don't think it's like that. You're gonna
Nolan Arenado.
Arenado, yes. Nolan Arenado. You looking something up or what?
Yeah, I'm looking up the 32 million.
Well, I'm gonna probably have to head out. I'm stopped at Walgreens. I gotta pick something up, so I'm gonna bounce.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for jumping on for the little bit here.
Had to handle a car. I had to handle a car thing, and now I got to handle something else.
Life is complicated sometimes. All right, brother. Well, enjoy your 4th of July weekend here.
You too, both of you. Enjoy your 4th.
Yes, sir. You too, brother.
Bye.
All right, brother.
Cardinals would defer $20 million payable in 10 equal installments with a 2% interest as of July 1st from 22 to 26. So I guess, $50 million. We'll have $50 million of the money deferred payable through 24. So he'll still be playing.
Nice.
But there is deferments in these contracts still.
Yeah.
Just not as much not as drastic as.
Especially for a guy that wasn't very good, right? I mean, he didn't end up being.
I mean, he was average, yeah. But
amazing.
I mean, those contracts just weren't that big. You look back in the time that he played, they weren't making the money that they make now, and so
Nowhere close.
I mean, $1 million for the next 13 years. That's 13 million they deferred, and he's been getting this for how long? As long as I can remember.
Yeah.
So they probably deferred 20 or 30 million of the contract. Well, back then, those were basically did you defer the whole contract? Like, I mean,
yeah.
That's what guys were making back then. They weren't making hundreds of millions. They were making roughly 30, 35 million. I mean, I think the Bonds deal when he signed with the Giants was like 60, and that was earth-shattering.
You see what Juan Soto's going to sign?
Oh my God.
13 for like
423 or something.
Wow. The guy's young. He's 23 with fantastic contract. Let's lock that guy up.
Yeah, see when
moly.
when Bonds signed with the Giants, it was 6 years, 43.75 million. That was the whole contract was 43.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been deferring Bonilla for it's been at least 7 years and then another 10 after this. So or 13. I mean, that's 20 years.
That started in 2011.
Okay, so 11 to 35 is 24 years. That's $24 million you deferred.
That's a great retirement plan. I want on that retirement plan.
Yeah, so do I.
Max Scherzer's going to return to the Mets Tuesday versus the Reds, so he'll have a pretty much a practice game because the Reds suck.
Tune-up start.
Yeah, a little tune-up here. All right, well, this is the story I want to get into the most here, and Freddie Freeman. We talked about it last week. Freddie Freeman went back to Atlanta. They gave him a standing ovation. This guy was getting choked up, and I'm not just talking about choked up as a little bitty couple tears here in the press conference after. He was almost bawling like he couldn't control himself.
Yeah.
Well, it comes out, and then Freddie Freeman cuts his agent, Casey Close.
Fires his agent.
Comes out, Freddie Freeman agent Casey Close apparently didn't tell Freddie Freeman that Atlanta came back with a second offer and Freeman would have took it. Freeman's deal with the Dodgers is actually going to be, after taxes and state taxes in California, less money than he could have got in Atlanta and he kept instead of paying it for all for taxes. So if you're looking for the money thing, but look, this isn't about the money for Freddie Freeman. It never has been and it never was. And my point is, this guy was the next Chipper Jones in Atlanta. Okay, this guy was the face of the franchise. If you don't know who Chipper Jones is, first of all, I'm not going to tell you not to watch the show. I'm not going to tell you not to watch the show, but you must be a very young baseball fan, or you're not a baseball fan at all. Chipper Jones is amazing. He is the franchise guy for Atlanta. When you think of Atlanta, Chipper Jones is probably the first guy you think of, or
Murphy
or Maddox or Glavine maybe, but Chipper Jones is that guy, and this guy had a chance to be that. He had a chance to stay there, and he could have took the first offer. So I'm not going to sit here, and he's getting paid by the Dodgers big time. I'm not going to sit here and pull out the little violin. But what if this is true? His agent is a crook, and I think it is devastating for a fan base that just won a championship, that had their best player, their face of the franchise, ripped away from them and taken to play against a team that they hate. Their rivals. I feel really bad for the Atlanta fan base. The Braves will get over it eventually. Freddie Freeman will get over it. He's batting 400, like 415 in the stretch of something. He's just on fire right now. They were talking about earlier, since what was it? It was like a couple weeks ago. He's been batting
probably
like
good motivation since all this happened. But the deal is, I don't understand the agents doing this, because the agents work off commission, and you would get commission off of, I guess maybe he did it because the commission was more money in LA.
I'll tell you this. LA is a lot more marketable than Atlanta.
Yeah.
And those shoe deals or those sunglasses, commercials, his agent's getting a cut. He's setting those up.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that's exactly why he did it. And
although World Series champions are pretty marketable. I mean,
marketable.
And Atlanta has that team. I mean, they're hot as the sun right now. They just won 14 or 15 straight. They get Acuna back tonight. To me, I was shocked that I just always assumed that was just going to be a done deal. He was going back to Atlanta, that they let him go obtain some other offers, but he was just, in the end of the day, he was going back to Atlanta. And when he didn't, I was shocked. And when he went to the Dodgers, I was even more shocked, because that's just not the guy that I know doesn't fit that mantra of LA life, Cali life. Let's put, the highest paid guy. Like, Freeman's none of that. Freeman is, Freeman is, like you were saying, the franchise, guy, and your mic's muted. I
was saying he was going to be the Dirk Nowitzki of Atlanta, or
100%. He was going to do that. He was going to be that guy, and Atlanta was trying to make him that guy. And when you win a World Series, I thought that definitely sealed the deal. I thought winning the World Series was just, whatever y'all want, I'll come back, even if it's a short deal, and then we work on the long deal. I thought, if we can't get the long deal worked out, Freeman comes back on a 1 or 2 year deal, and then we work on the longer one down the road. And for all this to take place, but now it makes sense.
When he left, I thought it was crazy. I thought my mind was blown. I was like, holy crap, this guy, he worked his butt off, stayed with his franchise to do what they just did, and then he walks out the door. And I hope the agent never works again. That's just sickening. It's sickening to know that he had to uproot his family to move out to LA. Talking about friendships you build over, and they weren't there just a couple years. Schools, friendships, and they moved, and all because your agent was a money-hungry, greedy bastard. Sorry for the language. That's how I feel about it, and I feel really bad for his family. I feel bad for him. The Dodgers are probably going, well, this is kind of awkward.
I think the next year or two, he kind of asked to go back. I don't know how that
I could see it. I could see it. But I'm not sure that, we never know what's going to happen. And
I don't know if Atlanta can swallow that contract,
Yeah. It's a guy that at the end of his career, no matter where he's at, he'll be back with Atlanta. He'll sign that contract, and they'll think about what could have been. And what's going to be heartbreaking is what if Atlanta goes on and win it again this season? That would be devastating for him. Or what if he's got to play them in the championship?
There's a very good possibility those teams match up
in the national, NDS there. But I don't know. I just felt really bad and extremely for that fan base.
Yeah.
They lose out on such a class act. We got one more topic for you. We got the Big Ten making some news. As UCLA and USC are jumping over to the Big Ten, and this is, I guess, their kind of answer for losing Oklahoma and Texas, and they
their answer to try to stay relevant in with the SEC.
Okay, I mean USC and UCLA, they are historic franchises, and they bring in some more competition, and the Pac-12 just got a lot weaker. I mean, devastating blow.
Pac-12 will end up
Pac-12
basically dispersing.
They're going to have to. They're kind of waiting on Notre Dame, and this would be a Notre Dame thing to do, to go join the Pac-12 and beat up on easy teams, because they're very overhyped and overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
Oregon would be your only competition.
That's it. and they're hit or miss every now. It seems like when they have a team, they put it together, but when they don't, it's kind of like, oh, they're not very good. The Pac-12, I don't take very seriously. The Big Ten, you got some pretty good teams there, but adding UCLA and USC is big for them. But we all know the SEC runs it, and
USC more on the football side. UCLA will affect the basketball side.
The basketball side of it. Yep, you're exactly right. And, someone's going to, you talk about UNC, North Carolina. They're talking about that on the 105.3 Fan. Are they going to move? Or, someone will pick them up because of their basketball, not because of football, but someone will pick them up because of basketball. If they're,
That's so hard. You don't have a lot of schools. Like Michigan is pretty solid in both,
Right.
Ohio State, they've been better basketball-wise the last few years, but not normally. Florida State is pretty well in both, but like North Carolina, USC's basketball is not great. Penn State, Notre Dame, you don't hear a lot of the women's basketball in Notre Dame is better, but it's really hard to find when you make these additions to make them for all the sports. It's basically you're making it for one sport,
right?
And then the others just drag along and follow.
Exactly, and 99. A lot of the times it is football.
Yeah, and that's where they focus.
Yeah,
UCLA is the opposite. It is, and you're just trying to stay relevant to try to stay with the SEC. I love the fact that the guy from Oklahoma goes over there and goes to USC and doesn't want to play in the
Lincoln
SEC.
Riley.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play in the SEC. Well, now he gets to play Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah,
how's that link?
Yeah, hopefully, he bailed out. That's exactly what he did. And
so try going into the big house with 150,000 people hollering at you. That'll be fun. But I just think it was a move. We were waiting on the other shoe to drop. When the SEC did their deal, you were waiting on the Big Ten. You were waiting on the Pac-12. You were waiting on the Big 12 to try to respond. The Big 12 went out and got 3 teams, none of them powerhouses. The Pac-12's trying to get Notre Dame to come over there and play with them. The Big Ten had to make a move. They were kind of the only ones that had steadfast and didn't make any moves. And so this was, while it was a surprise, I think it's a good move for everybody involved.
Yeah, it is a good move. And, I've been big on calling out Lincoln Riley and on wanting to bounce to the easiest conference they have, and now he's going to face some better competition. So,
and it helps Ohio State and Michigan. If whoever wins the Big Ten, it helps them because you played USC, you get some known opponents rather than just adding Rice and Air Force and all these guys that everybody knows. You're just putting cupcakes in there and just to expand your record, to be able to play another top 10 team or another top 20 team, it adds to your resume. And it appears that when it comes to the NCAA playoffs, your resume and the way you beat people and everything like that is what gets voted on where you get ranked,
Right. Well, Craig, I think that is going to wrap it up. We have the locker. What is in your locker? And just in case you guys are new to the show, we do this segment. It's called "What's in Your Locker" at the end of each episode, usually mostly on Fridays, and it gives you a little personal into our weekly and what we're kind of doing. Craig, go ahead and tell us what's in your locker this week, man.
Well, right now it is a lock. It's a locker full of nothing. It's empty because I just put in about 65 or 66 hours this week, and
yes, you did.
Out. So right now, other than maybe a UFC fight tomorrow night, I don't have much, and watching the Giants play the White Sox, it's really just going to be, maybe stream some TV shows or started watching SEAL Team and maybe catch up on 1883 and Mayor of Kingstown and stuff like that I've been wanting to watch for all this time. I'm gonna do much of nothing because it's the 4th. We got to work Monday, but I'm gonna take these couple of days and just unwind and just not do much of anything.
Stress out.
Not set an alarm. Not. Yeah.
That must be nice, Craig.
Yeah.
That must be nice.
I'll think about you about 3:00 when I roll over and hit the, look at the clock.
Look at the clock. Poor Brian's been at work.
Brian, he's running that route. That's too bad.
Yeah. Thanks. Let's see.
Text.
Yes, you'll need to do that tomorrow. Look, this week's been one heck of a week at work. I've been on Ruby's route. Craig's been getting beat up all week. Craig usually works on Saturdays, but he's worked so many hours he legally can't work tomorrow.
Follow me for more tips on how to get weekends off.
That'll do it. Have your CDL and then work
and
70
work
hours,
66
hours,
and be like that. Just can't work Saturday.
I just can't do it, guys.
Hard pass. I wish I would be there. I'm there in spirit, but
bright and early. Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty much a whole lot of nothing here on this end. We're dog sitting the neighbor's dogs this next week. They're gonna pay us $250 for 5 days. That's not bad at all. I'll take it.
Hold on. Let me come get Benji over there.
Let me come get. Yeah, they have 4 dogs. So
see, we'll split it. We'll split it.
Right.
2 and 2.
So they're paying us some decent money. Easy peasy. Their dogs are pretty easy to take care of as well, and they get along with our dogs.
Until somebody gets bit, then
someone loses a tooth on the last day of that they're coming home. But working, I got to run DP's route next week. But I don't know.
Is it sequence? Yeah, in my phone.
Yeah, in my phone.
To me.
Yes, that's why I asked him. Is it sequenced or is it just in your freaking phone, man? Anyways, that's gonna be fun. And the new guy's riding with me. Cool. He's supposed to learn the route on a guy that I don't even know.
He'll be there about 5:30.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna be dropping him off. I guarantee you, because I ain't waiting. Other than that, I'm trying to figure out what to do for the 4th for kiddos.
I can tell you what you won't be doing. You won't be watching fireworks because Tarrant County put out a burn ban, which includes fireworks. So all the fireworks shows will probably be
canceled.
Down.
I'm sure.
I don't know if that goes for your big, like your city shows. If that affects them or not, because they can justify, like, we went out on the water and did it. Like, I don't know. But it does affect. You shouldn't hear them in your neighborhood. You shouldn't hear them. You shouldn't hear some little Johnny over there playing with some sparklers. That should be out.
Well, look, I'm not supposed to hear them anyways because I live in the city, but I hear them.
Unfortunately,
next
I'm in an
door
unincorporated area next to the cow pasture where they have a fireworks stand. So everybody comes to Craig's neighborhood and
buys them.
My dog goes and lays in the bathroom and has a stroke because he's scared of his own shadow.
Gosh. Yeah, I'm wondering. Well, last year we could just sit outside and you could see him in our backyard. So I'm hoping that's the case this year.
I'll open my front door and YouTube stream it for you.
YouTube stream it. All right, there we go.
All right, kids. I'll do the podcast. Fireworks
live stream.
Live stream the fireworks from the unincorporated neighborhood.
Nice. That would be kind of funny, but I don't know if we get much. Well, we don't have any viewers right now watching, but whatever.
We got 2. Don't get the 2 people.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be it for this episode. We gave you the spotlight of the week was the NBA free agency, and we gave you the headlines of the week. it looks like, I did read something interesting. Well, not really interesting, but Brittany Griner, they're talking about her quickest way home is probably just to plead guilty and see if they give her a lesser sentence over in Russia. That sucks for her. Any Brittany Griner? No. Okay.
I mean, it just to me, it's time to just go over there and get her. It's time to
10. She's facing 10 years.
Yeah,
10. That is
for some CBD cartridges.
Some hashish oil, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
All right. I just read that earlier and just popped in my head. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic night. I'm going to go to sleep and get probably about 4.5 hours sleep and go to work tomorrow and run an unsequenced route. It's going to be freaking fantastic. Pray for me, guys. Then it's clean the house, watch the neighbor's dogs, and a little date night on the couch with some Stranger Things with the wife tomorrow.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. The last 2 episodes that crashed Netflix.
Yes, it crashed Netflix, so it better be working tomorrow. I'll be pissed because Saturday nights are our nights to catch up on our stuff. You mentioned a show earlier, and I was going to ask you about it. It was Mayor King. Is that good?
It's
is it good?
Amazing. If you
heard it's good.
Like that sort of,
I like a little bit of everything. So
collusion, bribery, drama. Yeah.
See, the wife doesn't really care for dramas. I'm the drama. I like the drama shows like Breaking Bad or so we'll see. But Stranger Things is it, man. That's all we're focusing on tomorrow night. So, but other than that, guys, I got something in the works I'm working on. I'll post on a different show, not on a show, but a different little avenue. I'll probably do a TikTok on it as well. I got something I'm working on, and it's coming out soon. But other than that, guys, hope you have a fantastic 4th. Go out there and celebrate our freedom, celebrate our country. Last week, yes, be safe. Don't make dumb decisions. Don't drink and drive.
JPP.
Yes, don't blow your hand off. We don't want no more hamburger helper guys walking around with weird fingers.
2 fingers.
Lay off the fentanyl, people. And
if you are taking that,
stop taking it. I was gonna say something else.
Don't mix it with cocaine.
Yes, don't mix it with your coke or meth. It's not. It's not a good.
Yeah, it's not.
Don't chase it with anything.
Yeah, not a good thing.
I was gonna say something else. What was I gonna say, Craig? It's gonna be funny, but I can't think about it. Can't think of what it is. All right, guys. Well, and always remember one thing, guys. Keep it outspoken. Say it, Craig. Say it.
Keep it outspoken.
Thank you.